Smart 24, driving business.
A great warm welcome on Smart 24 TV. This is the business edition. We're going to have a look at the stories that we managed to compile in our weekly bulletin. Among the stories that I can't leave here minus talking about is the National Bureau of Statistics GDP preliminary GDP estimates that happened over the weekend there, and then our public debt portfolio that is hitting up to 80 trillion. And more of these stories will be coming up on your way. My name is Pedison Mombere. Welcome once again. The business edition starts now. We're going to start with the state of our Uganda's public debt portfolio that is hitting 80 trillion, and this number is hitting very many Ugandans. I saw the State Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Amos Lugolobi, saying that this is the time the government of Uganda should grow its GDP so that we can get out of getting more debts coming into the country. Let's have a look at this very story.
Uganda's public debt is set to increase from the current 48.4% to 53.1% in the financial year 2023, according to the approved budget for the financial year 2023-2024 by the Parliament of Uganda. For our debt to be sustainable, particularly for developing countries, of which Uganda is part, International Monetary Fund says it must not exceed 50% of the country's gross domestic product GDP, and Uganda has made its commitment to maintain it. The State Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Amos Lugolobi, says that Uganda needs to raise money to finance the budget, largely through revenue and non-tax revenue. However, resources are less than what the country requires to finance the entire budget, including financing the debt portfolio, which creates a fiscal deficit.
We curtail our appetite so that the budget does not increase astronomically, and we have tried to do that in order to reduce the fiscal deficit. But at the same time, we need to grow our GDP, because the ratio you are talking about is the debt to GDP ratio, and the sustainable level has to be maintained at 50%. We have not yet hit that ceiling in nominal terms. We are now hovering around 48%. But the point I'm making here is we have to keep it within those sustainable levels according to our Charter of Fiscal Responsibility. We have made that commitment that we shall maintain it below 50%. And how do we do that? By growing our GDP.
Over the medium term, external debt payments have projected to increase due to the increase in commercial loans over the last few years. Interest payments are projected to amount to 6.135 trillion shillings, equivalent to 2.5% of GDP. Of this, 5.227 trillion shillings are projected for domestic interest payments, while 907.9 billion shillings will be foreign interest payments and commitment fees. Most of the government borrowing is for investment in infrastructure. In addition, Government of Uganda has made interventions intended to accelerate GDP growth, mainly in energy resources and minerals, to raise it.
And energy sector, the interventions are the undertaking to ensure that we have more capacity within the energy and mineral sector.
Furthermore, Engineer Ziria Wako says that most of the revenues come from electricity, industries and value addition. Engineer Zeria Wako also reveals that they have a strategy that they are implementing, starting with large customers who are in steel and housing, so they can contribute to the tax base, create more jobs and contribute to the GDP of the country.
For example, the steel rolling, the products are inputs to the housing sector of the country. Others are engaged in value addition to our raw agriculture products. And because of this, the more we focus on affordability for manufacturers and industries, the more we create jobs, the more we add value to our raw products as a country, and the more we increase revenue not only for the sector, but also contribution to the tax base, and the more we speak to the improved or increased GDP and socio-economic transformation of the country.
Given the planned unwinding of crisis measures and implementation of fiscal consolidation, Uganda's public debt continues to be sustainable in the medium term. Uganda has a moderate risk of external and overall public debt distress with limited space to absorb shocks. Nevertheless, stress tests highlight breaches of external debt burden, especially in relation to export shocks. Specifically, given a medium shock could lead to a breach of external debt service indicators, Uganda has limited space to absorb those shocks.
Yeah, that's a great one coming in from there. But I saw the State Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Amos Digolobi, saying that there's a need for a country to grow its GDP and maintain the commitment at a 15% threshold in order to reduce the debt portfolio in the country. Now getting to another story here, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics over the weekend released the GDP preliminary estimate, saying that the country has grown up to 5.3%. Dr. Chris Mukizo, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics Executive Director, says that the biggest contributor to this growth was the service sector with a share of 42.6%. Let's have a look at this very story.
The boss has said that the country is projected to grow, is estimated to grow by 5.3% compared to the growth that we registered of 4.6 last financial year, and that's the number.
The Uganda Bureau of Statistics has released its preliminary GDP estimates indicating that the economy has grown by 5.3% in this financial year 2022-2023 compared to the 4.6 revised growth of 2021-2022. The same statistics are showing that the GDP per capita now stands at 4,086,000, meaning that every Ugandan is going to earn 4 million after the end of this financial year 2022-2023.
Data indicates that the size of the economy in nominal terms increased to Uganda shillings 184,288 billion in 2022-2023 from 162,883 billion Uganda shillings in 2021-2022. Dr. Chris Mukiza, the Uganda Bureau of Statistics Executive Director, says that the biggest contributor to this growth was the service sector with a share of 42.6% in 2022-2023 compared to 41.6% in 2021-2022. He further says that the GDP per capita now stands at 488 million.
Now, we estimate the country to grow by 5.3% in the fiscal year 2022-23. GDP per capita in current prices stands at 4,086,000. So this one means that each person in the country is estimated to earn 4 million this financial year on average. GDP per capita is not a good measure, but it is the whole GDP divided by the population.
The industrial sector as well contributed 26.1% in 2022-2023 compared to 26.7% in the previous year. The monthly headline inflation for May 2023 registered a decrease by 0.3% compared to a 0.5% rise recorded in the month of April. What does this mean to the economy?
The consumer price index as well indicates that the monthly inflation has also reduced by 0.3% in the month of May compared to a 0.5% rise that was recorded in the month of April. This simply indicates that, or it means that we are not going to touch deep into our pockets to buy small products.
This was attributed to the monthly food crops and related items inflation that registered 2.3% decrease in May 2023 compared to a 4.1% rise registered in the month of April 2023.
That's so the monthly headline inflation for the month of May is registered at a negative 0.3 when we compare it with the 0.5 rise, which was recorded in the month of April. This has been majorly attributed to the monthly food crops and related item inflation that we have registered at a 2.3 decrease in May from the 4.1 rise that we recorded in the month of April 2023.
Tomatoes inflation registered a decrease by 10.1% in May 2023 compared to a 2.8% rise registered in the month of April 2023. Sweet potatoes inflation decreased to 9.5% in May 2023 compared to a 7.7% rise registered in the month of April 2023. Data further indicates that the monthly liquid energy fuels inflation decreased by 0.8% in May 2023 compared to 0.7% drop recorded in April. Charcoal inflation increased by 1.3% in May 2023 compared to 2.3% drop in April. Meanwhile, the annual headline inflation for 12 months as well decreased by 6.2% in May compared to 8.0% in April. Yeah, that's a great one coming in from Uganda Bureau of Statistics, telling us that the country has grown up to 5.3% compared to 4.6% growth recorded in 2021-2022. Now, getting to another story here, we had visitors from Zambia, a committee that came over the country here to take an oversight visit on the largest waste management plant in sub-Saharan Africa, which is here in Uganda. The Bugolobi in Kivubo was the management plant produces 70% of its electricity and as well as fertilizers, which they say they sell to farmers and get revenues. Our reporter Sam Hanifa had a follow-up with these visitors when they were oversighting that very waste plant. And let's have a look at what she compiled for us over there.
All the waste that is collected in Kampala and the surrounding areas is collected and taken to Bugolobi Nachivuo power plant, which is treated and transformed into water for irrigation, fertilizers for farmers to improve on the productivity of their crops, as well as biogas energy, which is used by the plant. The Zambian Accountability Committee, which is in Uganda on an oversight visit to see how Uganda's water system is managed, was amazed at how only one entity can manage the country's water and waste management system. According to the committee chairperson Brian Kambita in Zambia, they have over 11 commercial utilities which manage the water system, but most of them are challenged with electricity since they don't have capacity to manufacture it.
One significant difference that we identified is where the Uganda government has put in place a whole one utility company, of course similar to our situation, because we also have water utility companies running as companies, standalone companies, though they are parastatals, But here there is a single one which runs the water sector for the whole country. In Zambia, we have 11 commercial utilities, and these commercial utilities are regulated by one body, which we call NWASCO.
Kambita says the Uganda's water management system leverages on the economies of scale, making it affordable to all the people compared to their side, where the 11 commercial utilities determine the cost of water, which sometimes becomes expensive to Zambian people.
In operating in these various forms. One significant advantage we have seen from the Ugandan approach is that you leverage from economies of scale. And also the system in itself subsidizes the poor, in that those who have are able to subsidize those who have not, in that water is provided to the least places where they might not afford to pay at commercial tariffs.
According to engineer Amayo from National Water and Sewerage Corporation, they would be making more profits if only 30% of the Kampala people stopped vandalizing water and other equipments like water meters.
The non-revenue water challenge is big. In Kampala, we are not. The non-revenue water goes beyond 30%. We are fighting it. There are people who are adulterating meters. They do all sorts of things. People steal water. So it's a big challenge. It is something which requires us to, as Ugandans, to appreciate that these services involve a cost. And we need a collective effort. If you vandalize our assets, if you steal water, you incapacitate us to provide you good service.
Mahmoud Ultaya, the general manager Kampala, has stressed out that the Bugolobi Nativubo waste management plant is able to manufacture 70% of its electricity, as well as manufacture fertilizers which they sell to farmers. He says they also treat the water which they send back to Nachivubo Channel, and this water is used for irrigation.
What we do basically in National Water, we collect all the waste, especially human waste, in the city, but across even beyond the city, even those people who have septic tanks, we have cesspool emptiers, or the septic emptiers basically pick the waste from the septic tanks and either dump it here at our plant or even in Lubigi. So what we do is that waste is treated, because by the time we get it, it's not safe to discharge it in the environment. So we have it treated just like you've seen the systems that we have. And by the time we release it in the environment, the quality has significantly been improved, and most of the harmful elements have been removed, and it's basically safe for the environment. But also, on top of that, we try to turn waste into a resource. Our argument is that whatever you look at as waste, it can also be turned into a resource. So what we're doing in National Water is turn the waste into a resource, in that we're able to generate power from the waste we get from the city. So the plant you've seen has the capacity to generate electricity, and right now, like our engineers explained, 70% of the power that runs the plant is coming from the biogas we generate. And then also the other part is that we also getting manure or fertilizers from the waste. So we've been selling these fertilizers to farmers, especially who are looking for manure.
The treatment plant of Bugolobi Nachivubo meets the sanitation needs of the city of Kampala. It serves more than 724,000 water subscribers, of which 21,600 are pro-poor public stand posts, whose tariff is subsidized.
That's a great one coming in from Bugolobi there. And that's the Zambian Accountability Committee on Parastatals who visited the country to come and take a look at the biggest waste management here in Uganda. Now let's rush to Kabale district, where most of the government vehicles are going to be auctioned for the failure of the district to reach some debts of some contractor over there. So due to the district's inability to pay the contractual party, The government vehicles in Kabale district are currently in jeopardy of being up for auctioning. The contractor of Ibumba KB services is still owed 60% 0.331 million shillings as a result of disagreement from 2004 and 2005 fiscal year. This story happened in Kabale there, and let's have a look at what happened there.
During that period, Kabale District Local Government engaged Ibumba KB Services to undertake construction of footbridges in Ramchuchu and Kashambia sub-counties. The purpose behind this was to enhance mobility and accessibility for local residents. However, it is essential to note that these sub-counties were subsequently detached from Kabale District and now fall under Ruchiga District following their separation in July 2017. Following project's completion, Benon Kabagambe, director of Ibumba KB Services, claims that the district only paid for construction of footbridges in Ramchuchu sub-county, failing to fulfill its payment obligations for the one in Kasambia.
2005, when I took the certificate of completion to pay me, they promised me. They keep promising me up to 2013 when I decided to put my case to the court.
As a result of this lingering disagreement, vehicles owned by government of Kabale District face alarming threat of being seized through an auction process. This situation highlights urgent need for intervention and resolution to safeguard district's assets and uphold its operational continuity. Kabagambe believes that impounding vehicles could be an effective measure, as previous pleas to authorities have gone unanswered.
Sincerely, on my side, I'm sticking over impounding the vehicle so that they can sit and settle and see how they are going to pay me.
Richard Muhanguzi, representing Murambi auctioneers and High Court bailiffs, reveals that a Grade 1 Magistrates Court ruled in favor of Kabagambe on October 27, 2021, ordering district to pay outstanding amount. However, the district has defied the court's ruling.
And court ordered the Kabale District Local Government to pay the judgment creditor with Kabagambe Benon 60 million and 73,000. Of course, they failed to pay. And once they failed to pay, the judgment creditor applied for a warrant of attachment.
Consequently, Muhanguzi's company has obtained an order from Kabale Chief Magistrates Court permitting impounding and auctioning of the 3 vehicles to recover owned money if the district fails to comply with ruling by July 9, 2023.
It has directed me to attach this vehicle, to impound the vehicles. And once we impound the vehicles and fail to reclaim their vehicles, we shall sell them within 14 days.
When contacted, Fred Karyesubira, Chief Administrative Officer of Kabale District, confirmed that the district has received court order and is currently analyzing it. He added that his office has requested a 2-week grace period from plaintiff to further investigate the matter.
From Murambi auctioneers, High Court bailiffs, they came with a schedule of vehicles that they wanted to take out of a judgment date of 60.7 million. So they had listed 3 vehicles. We talked to them to give us 2 weeks to sort out ourselves and see what we can be in position to do.
According to court order, vehicle attached to office of LC5 chairman should be auctioned for a minimum bid of 18.231 million shillings, while vehicle attached to district education officer's office should start at 21.2 million shillings. Similar, one attached to chief finance officer's office to be auctioned with a starting bid of 21.3 million shillings.
Yeah, that's the Ibumba contractors there in Kabale that is demanding the whole district of Kabale 60.731 million that the district has failed to pay. So some of the district cars or vehicles are yet to be auctioned to reach that debt. This is what is happening in the country here. Getting to another story here, we're going to speak Tanzania-Uganda gas pipeline deal, where the government of Uganda and Tanzania are going to conduct feasibility study and see how they're coming up with this pipe. Remember, in the country here, we have 500 cubic feet of gas, which is little compared to what is in Tanzania. The PS from the Ministry of Energy says that this is the time we should also have gas from the Republic of Tanzania so that it can help us in the gas-related activities. Let's have a look at this story. At least many Ugandans have heard about oil, but they have heard less about the natural gas. For now, Uganda is estimated to be having 500 billion cubic feet of natural gas underground. However, the current natural gas reserves may not be sufficient to address the country's needs. Irene Vatebe, the permanent secretary from the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, says that Uganda and Tanzania are currently geared for the commencement of a feasibility study for the construction of gas pipeline after signing an initial memorandum of understanding.
So as part of the in-country plans, yes, we are planning to use some of that gas from the upstream, bottled as LPG. However, in order to support this ambitious plan, we are working with the government of Tanzania to see that we can lay a pipeline that will bring natural gas from Tanzania to Uganda to do three things.
According to Vatebe, the country's gas reserves are insufficient, and this pipeline from Tanzania to Uganda will increase the country's gas supply to support iron ore industry and other domestic requirements for gas.
One, to support our iron ore industry in terms of smelting, especially because today, of course, we are using coal and other options that are not very clean. So through this program, we'll be able to have clean gas to support our iron and ore industry, but also will support the domestic requirements for gas and also the industrial or commercial requirements.
What is the purpose of this gas? This gas, we plan to use it for power generation, for domestic use, LPG, and also to be used for supporting the production of oil. You know, you can pump gas. It is easier to pump gas into the ground than to pump liquid. So when you pump that gas, it will go and chase or push the other oil which is becoming stubborn out of the rock to come out.
Predominantly, gas reserves have been commercially discovered in the Albertine Graben, that's in Hoima, Chikove, Bulisa and Taroko districts.
PS indicated, oil is mixed with water with the gas. So when you start producing, gas comes out first, then you get the oil, then the water. So that is what we call associated gas. So we have 500 cubic feet estimated to be produced. Then along the way, as the volumes go down, we shall have now what we call the non-associated gas, which is about 150 billion cubic feet, which will be produced after we have produced the other, which comes out first.
The MOU with Tanzania, yes, and we did highlight the function to bring in gas because they have a lot of gas, whereas Uganda is boasting of 500 billion cubic feet, Tanzania boasts of 57 trillion cubic feet, meaning that they do have a substantial amount of gas. So in this MOU, because it will be a transboundary integrated project, we did commit, number one, to put in place a joint technical committee at technical level.
The first gas commercialization is expected to happen in 2025, with production to be undertaken by joint venture partnerships between CNOOC, Total Energies and others. We'll be going in for a short break, and when we come back, more of the stories will be coming up on your way. This is the Business Edition.
Smart 24, driving business.
This is Jordan. When it comes to classwork, Jordan is magic. Jordan shines. Jordan makes his peers better. Jordan is a true leader. White Star Magic family. Be a leader. Be magic.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Bang Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. Best school fees I teach you. When I go to which the muscari. Because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? It's serious you. What? Yeah? You stay put on it. Add kilometers to your legs. And you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru. And Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru, Jerry card.
Okakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292#. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest. Smart 24, driving business.
Yeah, welcome back from that break, and now the business edition is still continuing. We are going to speak about boosting agricultural productivity. Local stakeholders and government representatives have teamed up to solve the difficulties faced by commercial agriculturists and agro-processing in an effort to increase agricultural output and realize the full potential of the Elgon region.
Elgon region, known for its fertile lands and favorable climate, has long been an agricultural hub. Despite its potential, the region has faced numerous obstacles hindering its full development. Challenges such as inadequate infrastructure, limited access to finance and technology, post-harvest losses, and inadequate market linkages have hampered the growth of commercial agriculture and agro-processing. Within the Elgon region, youth have become a pillar where government has so far empowered over 12,000 in agriculture, and the number is projected to grow to 1,050,000 youth by the year 2030. These have been further urged to engage into the entire agriculture value chain.
Look at the network of the youth who have come about in the Elgon region. We have about 12,000 youth that are doing work in the Elgon region. When I talk of the 12,000 youth, we have those youth in school. We have also youth out of school. And the youth in school have the youth agripreneur agri-clubs. And the government has also done the best of it by introducing the competence-based type of learning, that learners can get the knowledge and the skills from the cottage industries in our parishes, and a potential investor has that opportunity.
Youth from 50 parishes in that region, which is 300 youth. They've already gone back to their communities. They have incubated 12,000 youth, both in school and those out of school. And right now, our youth are forming cottages, 25 cottages in each parish. And each cottage has a potential to create opportunities for at least 100 youth. So we see that within the year 2030, we shall have 1,250,000 youth that we are working with in the region.
To tackle these challenges, a multi-stake task force has come up comprising of representatives from local farming communities, government agencies, financial institutions and agribusiness companies. The task force aims to identify key areas of improvement and implement strategic interventions to address the existing gaps as well as find investment opportunities within the region.
Culture, our region is known first as the biggest contributor of the aromatic Arabica coffee. Kapchora, Bugisu, part of Tororo. And that's why we still have the oldest and resilient Bugisu Cooperative Union. That one is a very serious business opportunity for investors who can invest in coffee hulling, who can invest in coffee processing, value addition, and so many other things.
Elgon region is famous for its high-quality Arabica coffee, which thrives in the region's altitude and volcanic soils. Investors can establish coffee plantations, processing facilities, and export-oriented enterprises to capitalize on the region's reputation as a premium coffee producer. By addressing challenges faced by commercial agriculture and agro-processing, the region can become a model for sustainable agricultural development and contribute significantly to the country's food security and economic growth.
Yeah, that story coming from Elgon region, but this coordinated efforts is aiming to change the agricultural industry and spur economic growth in the area because they are aware of the prospects that exist within the region there. So we are talking about boosting agricultural productivity in the Elgon region. That's all about that story over there. Now we're going to look at Namgongo. Remember, very many Ugandans came to Namgongo. Very many Christians came over here to Namgongo for Uganda Mother's Day. Namgongo then developed into a booming commercial center that drew business people and consumers to visit its vibrant market, thriving small businesses over there. Our reporter was on top of this very story, seeing how businesses are running or how businesses ran during that day. Let's have a look at what we had to compile over there.
Namgongo, a bustling town in Uganda, has established itself as a vibrant business hub, attracting entrepreneurs and shoppers alike. With its diverse markets, thriving small-scale enterprises and bustling commercial activity, the area exemplifies the entrepreneurial spirit and economic growth in the region. To cater for the increased demand, street vendors and small traders set up temporary stalls along the pilgrimage route. These vendors offer a variety of products, including religious artifacts, food, beverages, and souvenirs. The surge in street vendors bolsters entrepreneurial activities and provides additional income, generating opportunities.
Abavubuka balekenga gayanga emirimu batandike mpola mpola eno business mugira mambo ya chapati teri mu sente business ziri mu sente.
It should stop despising jobs. All jobs observed are profitable, and you only get promoted to the bigger aspect once you have perfected the small task that you will be able to execute bigger tasks.
Carrying goods
and items in the cold is never easy. I call upon my fellow ladies to work hard. Nothing comes on a silver plate. But as for Namgongo, so far Namgongo is very okay.
We strongly believe with time customers are going to increase. Just today alone, have been having a number of them, and how much more shall we expect as we proceed? During Mother's Day, Namgongo experiences a substantial influx of visitors leading to a surge in customer footfall. The heightened presence of pilgrims and tourists creates a significant market opportunity for local businesses, stimulating sales and revenue generation. Namgongo's business environment flourishes throughout the year, but the impact of the Matters Day is particularly significant. The pilgrimage draws a large number of visitors, creating a lucrative market for local businesses. By embracing the opportunities presented during the time, Namgongo's entrepreneurs continue to strengthen the community's economy while honoring the Uganda Matters legacy.
Yeah, that's a great one coming from Namgongo over there. A lot of businesses happened there, and of course I know government is going to collect big revenues over there because of that very day. Now we are getting to Kampala-Jinja Highway Express construction that is yet to commence after expected complete and acquisition of July 2024. This ambitious project is a public-private partnership with government committing about 400 million shillings and private sector about 800 million shillings put together to have the construction of Kampala-Jinja Highway Express. Bronia Katsime did this story.
According to National Transport and Logistics Policy 2021, Uganda highly depends on road infrastructure for passenger and cargo movement. Road transport is the most dominant mode, carrying over 96.5% of the country's goods and about 95% of passenger traffic at June 2019. Construction of Kampala-Jinja Expressway will bring enormous long-term benefits to the regional, national and local economies, where government has contributed about 400 million shillings and private sector about 800 million shillings. Nevertheless, there are risks associated with constructing an expressway through a settled community with potentially adverse social, environmental and economic impacts.
Project of this magnitude, it is a huge project in trillions of Uganda shillings, but can actually fail if we fail in the component of how the people are affected.
Because this is a PPP project, which means government brings in money and the private sector brings in some money. Our government has committed a contribution to the project of about 400 million, which is going to be got from our development partners, and the private sector is going to contribute the other part, which is about 800 million. For the part for government is secure.
Honorable Echeru Francis, State Minister for Works and Transport, has revealed that Kampala-Jinja Expressway is a reality and that resources involved have been worked upon, and henceforth UNRA will be working on compensating those that are likely to be affected by the project works.
The land acquisition in Uganda continues to pose a major socio-economic, environmental and political challenge to the development planning and implementation agenda of government programs and activities.
As progress takes shape, careful planning is underway to ensure proper compensation for individuals affected by the construction. On the other hand, representatives from various constituencies whose people are likely to be affected by the project have thanked government and UNRA for compensation agenda, but also called upon government to ensure just payment, and it should come in on time.
By assuring us that people with no legal, those that are not legally recognized as per the law will be compensated. Those in informal businesses, those without land titles, etc., they will be compensated. That is very good. We appreciate that. But however, this is what we are saying. The compensation should be just, it should be fair, it should be able to reinstate them in a good life after they have left where they have been.
And begin, of course, the one area I also need to warn always not to be conservative, that everybody must be given a land. There you will have a rebellion. Let them give them either land or the value. There are people who want to return where they came from, others who want to come to Kampala and do business, others who... So let them just calculate the value. For those who are extremely vulnerable that cannot even relocate themselves, yes, you can give them land.
Since 2016, UNRA has been undertaking land acquisition in line with updated resettlement action plan for the project activities undertaken involving collecting baseline socioeconomic data and valuation of affected properties. The general approach for land acquisition was based on methodology approved by Office of Chief Government Valuer in 2017, structured in accordance to national laws with guidelines for compensation and assessment for land acquisition, which is no different to this project.
Okay, we'll be going in for a short commercial break, and when I come back, Business Edition is still continuing. Stay around.
Smart 24, driving business.
Tusako mwana mulezi omuyaka bwati King of the East Saka Free Boss nanyini mavoko ama height bewala tulerinya nayimbira omutanda Palaso Muchivulu Love Festa Kurugogo Cricket Oval Kulokutanunga mwenda June Shilingi mitwale 2 VIP mitwale 5 Emeza ya milioni 3 Sasula kwa MTN Mobile Money Osasula gumu chitundu Ate VIP mitwale 8 chitundu Nyiga kamunyenye emu mkaga 5 kamunyenye mwenda 8 Kadara Kusata denga 10 Mbarara Ajip Motel Omutwale gumu VIP mitwale 2 Sunday nga 10 Fort Porto Muchisawe Shilingi omutwale gumu VIP mitwale 2 Friday kuna mkaga June Eruwero Muchisawe Saturday nga 17 Jinja mu Trans Gardens Sunday nga 18 Mubenda Muchisawe Wana shilingi omutwale gumu Palaso nga konko nyendong Mujetu muwagire Nebi baby binaronda na mala Itegeke dwa saba folo baram Ebiwagiro Pepsi Cola Mango Safaris Protea Hotel Radio 4
Everywhere you go MTN.
Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda, yeah, the taste of Uganda, the taste of Uganda, yeah, I want ya.
He must be rich, tall, handsome, from a respectable family. He must have a maid because at our home we do not work.
Conductor Masao.
What? Obadde olobye ku ssimu?
Yamunange anti yo TV enkolera.
Nyumirwa omulembe omupya ogujjudde ebisanyusa omuli emikutu gya TV egisukka mu 8 n'egya radio nga kwotadde ne zifirimu ng'osinziirira wonna w'oli. Genda mu App Store oteeke app ya GOTV channels ku ssimu yo olwo onyumirwe ennaku 3 ng'olabira bwereere ewatali kozesa data.
GOTV channels.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back from that break. The Business Edition is still continuing. I'm seeing here His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni criticized the selling of electricity at 8.5 US cents a unit, which he says is expensive for Ugandans, and it's also expensive to fulfill its intended purpose, where he urged developers to lower the price so that people can escape away from poverty. A comprehensive strategy that strikes a balance between the needs of the manufacturing and the sustainability of the energy sector is being developed over there. Let's have a look at this very story.
The manufacturing sector faces significant challenges due to high tariff rates. This results in elevated production costs and diminished competitiveness on both domestic and international fronts. President Museveni emphasized the necessity of reducing tariffs to aid local manufacturers attract foreign investments and stimulate economic growth while creating job opportunities. During the commissioning of the 14 megawatts hydropower plant in Uganda, the president emphasized the need for a manufacturing sector tariff of 5 cents per unit, citing the cost of production at dams like Karuma and Isimba at 4.8 cents and Bujagari decreasing from 13 cents to 8.3 cents per unit.
This price of 8.5 cents per unit is not a Christian idea. What can we do about this eventually? How can we bring it down? Because we are insisting that power, especially for manufacturing, should be about 5 cents. For nightclubs, I don't mind. It can go to 8 cents and so on. But so what do you say about the cost? Because when we build dams with the Chinese, like the Karuma you are hearing about, the production cost is 4.8 cents. Karuma, the one the minister was talking about, 4.8 cents. Isimba, 4.8 cents. Because we need cheap electricity, especially for manufacturing.
In February of this year, Minister of Energy held a meeting with manufacturers to address the same issue, and they reached an agreement on a phased reduction of the tariff, which will be announced by the regulator in the near future.
Directive which I have been planning to implement, a directive from the President to supply power to the industrial parks at 5 US cents. This cannot be done abruptly, because it will cause some shortfall, and my system or my industry is a self-reliant industry. I sell electricity to survive, so I cannot implement the directive abruptly, and I have been working with the President on this. So we are reducing slowly, and very soon the regulator who is mandated to reduce, to announce tariffs, will be announcing a tariff that will not be 5 US cents, but a tariff that will be moving towards achieving the President's directive.
When Smart 24 TV contacted the Electricity Regulatory Authority, we were informed that they are currently engaged in discussions with various stakeholders to address the issue at hand. These discussions aim to find a solution by conducting a thorough analysis of the potential consequences on revenue generation, the energy sector as a whole, while ensuring the long-term viability of the power supply.
It's work in progress. We are doing stakeholder engagements with the relevant stakeholders to try to understand how we may certainly, that requires, wherever you take money away from, there must be somebody who fills the gap. So it's a process where we're doing consultation with finance, parliament, the presidency, manufacturers themselves. It's a consultative process that is ongoing, and when it's ready, we'll let you guys know. You see, everything is possible. It just depends on how you do it. Ideally, what gives way? If there is nothing that gives way, then you creatively ask yourself, what can I use as a substitution? That means that if you're giving manufacturers 5 cents, okay, and the weighted average cost of generation is beyond that, it means that there must be a subsidy that comes from somewhere. There must be money that comes from somewhere to fill that gap, to be able to buy down the price for manufacturers, or there must be something that you pull out in the costing process, make sure the price comes down. That's why I told you it's a consultative process that we are very actively engaged in, and once ready, we'll let you know.
Her Excellency Samia Suluhu also emphasizes that accessible electricity will contribute to closing the communication gap and promoting regional integration.
This power is going to bridge the communication gaps, as has been just said by the Minister, that there are going to be connections, and so communication gaps are going to be bridged between the urban and the rural settings.
The proposed tariff reduction, if implemented successfully, is expected to provide a significant boost to Uganda's manufacturing sector, attract new investments, and foster an environment conducive to innovation, job creation, and economic development. The government's commitment to supporting the manufacturing industry through favorable policies such as tariff reductions underscores its dedication to driving Uganda towards becoming a vibrant industrial hub in the region.
Yeah, that's the president of Uganda there, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, saying that 8.3 US cent per unit is very, very expensive for Ugandans. But in this case, experts and other industry representatives will first be consulted and see how best they can reduce this to a smaller figure. Now, getting to another story here, I think the Uganda National Roads Authority is facing lots and lots of criticism for its failure to meet the promised 3-week deadline to repair the Kabale-Kisoro Road, which was recently damaged by landslides over there. The road collapse occurred on May 4th, 2023, near Hamhavura Town Council, prompting UNRA to inject construction as soon as possible. Let's have a look at this very story.
Alison Navenawe, the UNRA Kabale station manager, had initially projected 3-week turnaround for Kabale road repairs, but she ultimately decided to restrict the route to traffic to facilitate effective construction. However, Musa Ichweru, the State Minister for Works, gave UNRA the order to reopen the route for necessary traffic, adding to the delay. Technical failure prevented efficient emergency work, which resulted in minimal repair progress and extension of the original date. Alan Sempeba, the UNRA spokesperson, confirmed in a phone interview that their equipment had indeed broken down, but assured that repairs had been made and work had resumed. However, Sempeba did not provide a specific timeline for when the road would be fully functional again.
Well, just yesterday, I received pictures where our team were there, and we had the equipment there, not just one equipment. Mechanical issues we had with the excavator, I knew. When they returned on site, they gave me an update that they're back on site. And for us, these are, construction be a straight up activity, There's going to be a delay in something. You remember the other day when they had some showers in the day. That as well also affects progress. But the point is we are spirited at working. I think that for us the will to work is there. We have not abandoned. When we had challenges with our equipment, we rectified the challenges and brought it back on site.
Stephen Kasabia, the Rwanda district's chairperson, emphasized that the ongoing works must include an efficient drainage system strategy to ensure their effectiveness.
This road, right off from Kahala to Kisoro, the drainage system of this road is very poor. There is no drainage. The maintenance is not there. Because, where you have seen, where is the passage for water? The drainage system was not properly constructed. That's what, when they are working on maintaining this road, they must think about the drainage system of this road up to Kisoro.
Road users and residents expressed concerns to UNRA, urging them to effectively repair the road since it is located in a wetland area, posing risks of future destruction.
My prayer, it is to give us good work that we always see maybe somewhere.
When they were constructing that road, they never considered it as a wetland, which required to reinforce the nature of the soils. And also, because of the nature either of the contract and the awarded contract, the kind of roads which they construct here.
The Kigezi sub-region in Uganda was severely impacted by recent landslides and floods caused by the heavy rains at the beginning of this month. The disaster resulted in a loss of 23 lives, rendered most roads impassable, and caused significant property damage.
Those have been the stories that we managed to compile for you, and like we do every Sunday at this very time, we look at the stories again so that you get to understand them very well if at all you missed our bulletin over the weekend there. My name is Pedison Mumbere. Remember, other programs will be coming up your way. Stay around on Smart 24 Television. Bye-bye. Let's meet next week.